I never knew guilt could weigh so much. Not the kind that screams or begs for forgiveness, but the silent kind. The kind that hides beneath your ribs and eats at you every time he smiles, like he still believes you're the best thing that ever happened to him. My name is Emma. I was 31 when I made the biggest mistake of my life. I cheated on my husband, Daniel. It wasn't planned. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't even worth it. Just one night. One reckless, selfish moment I can't undo. We'd been married 6 years, together nearly 9. He was the calm one, the man who never raised his voice, who still opened doors, who still asked about my day like he truly cared. And maybe that was the problem. He was too steady, too predictable. I told myself I wanted something new, something thrilling, something that made me feel alive again. That's what people say when they're trying to excuse destruction. That something was missing. But nothing was missing. I was just tired of being loved the right way. It happened at a work conference, a hotel bar, too much wine, too much laughter, with a coworker named Mark, a man who knew how to say all the right things, without meaning any of them. I remember the low lights, the smell of whiskey, and my phone buzzing on the counter. Daniel's name glowed on the screen. I turned it face down. That moment haunts me more than what came next. The next morning, I couldn't even look at myself. I told Daniel I'd be home late for meetings. He believed me, he always did. When I came home, he hugged me like he'd missed me, kissed my forehead, asked if I wanted tea. I smiled, lied again, and said yes. That's when I learned kindness can hurt more than anger. For weeks I waited for him to notice, to sense something, anything. But he didn't. He just kept being Daniel. The gentler he was, the guiltier I felt. I started snapping over nothing, leaving early for yoga, staying late at work, pretending to be tired when he reached for me at night. Then one evening, everything shattered. I came home to find him sitting at the kitchen table, his phone beside him, face calm, eyes distant. He didn't look up when I entered. "Hey," I said softly. No answer. My heart started pounding. He finally looked at me. "Emma," he said quietly, "how long were you planning to keep pretending?" The air disappeared. I froze, my throat tight. "What are you talking about?" I whispered, though I already knew. He slid his phone across the table. On the screen, a photo of me and Mark. In the hotel lobby, my hand on his chest. My face tilted up in a way that couldn't be denied. My stomach dropped. "Daniel, He raised a hand. "Please don't insult me with excuses." His calmness cut deeper than any anger. His eyes were steady, almost kind, and that terrified me. "I loved you enough to believe you'd never do this," he said softly. "That's on me." I broke down, reaching for him, but he didn't move. He just sat there, breathing slowly, like he was trying to memorize the moment. He finally stopped hoping. When I begged him to talk, he said, "You already said enough. The night you turned your phone over." That line destroyed me. He stood, pushed his chair in neatly, and walked to the door. He didn't slam it. He didn't look back. He just left quietly, like everything between us had already ended days ago. And he was only catching up to it now. That night, I slept on the couch, clutching my phone, waiting for a message that never came. The next morning, the silence in the house felt heavier than any scream could have been. His shoes were gone. His toothbrush, too. But he hadn't taken everything. His wedding ring sat on the counter, beside a folded note, just my name on it. My hands trembled as I opened it. It wasn't long, only a few lines written in his careful handwriting. "You don't need to explain. You made a choice. I'm making mine. I won't humiliate you or myself by begging. Take care of yourself, and please don't contact me. You'll hear from my lawyer about the rest." That was it. No anger, no closure, just quiet finality. For days, I told myself he was bluffing, that he just needed time. But Daniel wasn't dramatic. When he said something, he meant it. And when he said, "Don't contact me," he lived by it. My texts went unanswered. My calls went straight to voicemail. Eventually, the numbers stopped working altogether. He vanished so completely, it was like he'd been erased from my life. And that's when it finally hit me. I hadn't just lost my husband. I'd lost the only person who ever looked at me without judgment. Weeks passed before I saw him again. A friend's engagement dinner. Mutual friends we'd met years ago. I almost didn't go, but pride made me show up. I dressed carefully, practiced my smile, rehearsed lines in case someone mentioned him. Then I saw him. Daniel walked in wearing a navy suit I didn't recognize. He looked different, not bitter, not broken, just composed. There was a woman beside him. Tall, confident, laughing at something he said. My stomach turned to ice. He saw me almost instantly. Our eyes met. For a second, something flickered, maybe memory, maybe nothing. Then it was gone. He nodded politely, the way you do to someone you once knew, and turned back to her. Every word I spoke after that felt forced. Every laugh sounded fake. I kept sipping water to hide how dry my throat was. A friend leaned over and whispered, "Emma, are you okay?" I wasn't. When the dinner ended, I stepped outside for air. The night was cool, quiet except for distant traffic. I thought I could slip away unnoticed, until I heard his voice behind me. "Emma." I turned. He was standing a few feet away, hands in his pockets, wearing that same calm expression that once made me feel safe. "I didn't think you'd want to talk," I whispered. He shrugged lightly. "I don't. But I figured you might." I opened my mouth, but nothing came. All the apologies I'd rehearsed vanished. Finally, I managed, "You look good." "So do you," he said simply. Then, after a pause, "I'm not angry anymore." That broke me more than anything else, because anger meant he still cared. But he'd moved past even that. He continued, voice steady. "You were right, you know. I was too predictable, too steady. But I've realized something. Steadiness isn't boring, it's peace. And peace isn't something you beg someone to value." I wanted to say I was sorry. I wanted to ask for another chance. But the way he looked at me told me everything. Whatever we had was gone. Just a story we both remembered differently. Before he turned to leave, he said softly, "I hope you find what you were looking for, Emma. Truly." And then he walked away again. Not from pain this time, but from peace. I stood there long after he disappeared. The air colder, the city distant. For the first time, I understood what silence really was. Not absence, finality. That night, I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I had chased excitement and found emptiness. I had traded a man's quiet love for a moment that meant nothing. And his calm, measured goodbye didn't just leave me speechless. It taught me something I'll never forget. Sometimes, the loudest revenge is peace.